gentleman is recognized to speak.
Thank you very much, Madam Chair. Madam Chair, like last year, my amendment is straightforward. It restores the language carried in this bill for over 45 years. It protects life and prevents federal tax-funded abortion. Since it was first enacted by an overwhelmingly Democratic Congress in 1956, it's estimated that this provision, known as the Hyde Amendment, after its original author, the late Congressman Hyde, has saved more than 2 million lives. This language has been supported by lawmakers and signed by into law by presidents of both parties every year as part of the appropriations process. And every Democratic member sitting in this room today has voted for it passed as recently as last March. When President Biden was Speaker of the United States Senate, he supported including the Hyde Amendment and appropriations bills and showed support for the provision as recently as just 3 years ago while campaigning for president. He has since flip-flopped on this issue under pressure from the far left wing that now controls the Democratic Party and proposed the removal of this protection in his budget request. This bill also dilutes conscience protection language added 17 years ago by then Congressman Dave Weldon, which protects American doctors, nurses, and other healthcare professionals from participating in or providing an abortion if they have a moral objection. This is an essential right of every American, and its removal is a danger to all of us. Last year, 22 state attorneys general sent a letter to the congressional leadership outlining in detail their objections to the removal of the Hyde Amendment in the president's FY22 budget request. Repealing the Hyde Amendment would impose a pro-abortion funding policy on states that have decided against it. They stated that the Hyde Amendment allows states to choose to fund elective abortions or not with state taxpayer dollars. And the people and elected representatives of 34 states have voluntarily chosen not to do so. I will always come down firmly on the side of protecting and saving lives of unborn children, as well as defending the conscience rights of American taxpayers. I do recognize that the issue of abortion is emotionally charged and that many Americans have differing points of view. But even for Americans who consider themselves pro-choice on this issue, many don't believe that tax dollars should be used for abortion. In fact, 60% of the American public oppose taxpayer funding for abortions. Madam Chair, I know you appreciate the fact that this bill cannot become law until these provisions are restored. You wisely agreed to do so just a few short months ago, and this decision enabled us to complete work on the fiscal year 22 omnibus bill. As the makeup of this body and the other body remain the same as they were in March, everyone in this room knows that these provisions must be restored once again to allow this bill in fiscal year 23 to move toward completion. I would strongly urge you that we make this modification now, this committee room, so that negotiations are not unnecessarily bogged down later in the year. We know this needs to happen, so let's do so sooner rather than later so that we can produce a final bill before Congress adjourns later this year. With that, Madam Chair, I urge the passage of my amendment and I yield back the balance of my time.